Today is the day where we embrace our horrible art and give it a better life. I have been drawing since I was around 6 years old. Obviously, I wasn't the best at it when I started drawing. It took me a while to get to where I am. It's nice to see the progress that has been made throughout the years, even if the old one seems better than the current. It motivates you to see where you have progressed and where things have changed, and you can make adjustments based on that. With my current powers now, why don't I do some of my old drawings justice? Starting off with this art from around 2018, it was an original character that's literally me. During this time, my outfits consisted of a jean jacket or a mustard colored shirt. Like, that was my main character clothing. I don't wear this anymore, so you can't tell that this character was me back then. I was also obsessed with spear or staff wielding characters, so I wanted to include that in there. I will be showing a bit of my time-lapse, but I want to add a disclaimer that I didn't realize how annoying it is to watch my time-lapses because I do some unnecessary zooming in or rotation all the time. So that's why I put an epilepsy warning in the beginning because it kind of bothered me. I don't have a name for this character, so let's name her Gaia. Don't know why, it just feels right. Giving a little bit of a background story, this girl is a coolish, nonchalant type of person. Not because I was like that back then, but because she kind of just gives off that vibe. She's kind of like a lone wolf. She adventures on her own and doesn't really like to ask for help. Since I made this in high school, she would be pretty young and be in a high school setting. American to be specific. Not sure why she has a weapon, but if I were to think of this from the top of my head, I would guess that there is some anomaly that is in her town that causes a disturbance. Pretty basic idea, honestly, but hey, it's a start. Low-key, I wasn't content with this because I didn't want to show a simple redraw of my characters. I wanted a story to tell as well. So let's give a scenario for her. I decided to make her chill on the school bleachers because back then something happened during my gym class. I forgot what it was, but it basically made us sit in the bleachers in the school for a while every time we had that class. And it was the most chill moment because I would just be hanging out with my friends while being sunbathed since the skies were so clear. It's truly a core memory for me. I used a 3D model of the school benches from the Clip Studio asset store to get this vision because doing this by hand would take so long and I had a vision and I needed to get it out. Honestly, I really love it. I definitely would like to make the school bleachers look better, but I think this is a good base for now. And now to the next character. At this time, I was still kind of exploring digital art, trying to learn how to paint mostly because I really hated line art. So I needed to practice some painting skills to achieve what I wanted. I had another art of her that I never finished back in 2017. Why don't I just finish this? This one I think was inspired by Dungeon Fighters Online for some reason. I don't know why, but that was the first thing I thought of when I looked at her. I have never played that game long term in my life. She's basically a fighting character with magical powers. I wasn't a really big original character builder back then because I was really just trying to hone my crafts since I was in an IB art class that basically focused on expanding artistic abilities and knowledge. But what I do know is that she's an older character. A corporate baddie? Maybe a detective? I low-key want her to be a detective where she has a secret gig which would cause her to lose her job if other people in the workplace found out. Also, I don't really know what to name her, so if anyone wants to comment a name, feel free to. I am so proud of this redraw. The difference between this is like night and day, considering I had no technique back then. I was just painting without much thought compared to now. This is my first realistic drawing that I have ever done in my life. Like, look at the shading I did. I was like 11, so I didn't really have an idea of what her background is, but I think she was inspired by Ari from League of Legends. I figured that since I drew her kind of realistic here, why don't I try that again? My history with realism is pretty okay. As much as I would love to render like sakimichan or coax illust, it would be very far till I achieve that. I specifically remember being so proud of this. I showed it to my art teacher in middle school and she was so proud of me. Again, I was 11 at the time, and so she really encouraged me to go to an art program for high school, which kind of destroyed me because I got rejected. But it's okay. I really had a good art life in high school anyways because I got put into the IB Arts and I had my whole exhibition and stuff. When I was drawing this, it was kind of fun trying to do something realistic again. In one of my old videos, I mentioned how I don't really draw realistic noses anymore. My art just naturally progressed that way. But doing that nose again made me feel really confident in that art. When I do an unrealistic nose, it gets hard for me to paint compared to a realistic nose. Okay, enough with the nose talk. I don't really want to expand on this character yet. I feel like I need to do more research of like the nine-tailed fox or fox spirits in general before developing a character that is based on Asian folklore. I feel like I would appreciate the character more if I knew the story behind it. Overall, this was pretty much a breath of fresh air for me to do this, so I really enjoyed doing this. And now I got this drawing. Hold on. Back up. This was maybe around 2007. The internet back then had these like emo anime things. Naturally, I was one of those people that were in love with them. I had lots of emo or scene inspired art, and this drawing was pretty hard, not gonna lie. It was mostly because of the hair. This type of hair had me in a chokehold when I was younger. The colors on the hair too were really annoying. I ended up not liking this art, so I tried again. You know what they say, sketching is a gacha game. You have to sketch something until you finally find the one. I don't know why, but my hands decided to go for a more realistic look this time. I honestly really like this style, so I thought it was something that I could be content with. I like the style, but something was just off. Like, in a really bad way. Like, it pissed me off. I think the colors just didn't harmonize well here. And then I lost the footage to the rest of this time-lapse. I don't really know where it went, but this is what it looked like. So I tried again on my iPad, trying to keep mental note of every stroke I make, and I was feeling really confident on this one. I was a bit scared at first because when I sketch thickly, then make my way to make the lines thinner, it usually becomes bad, but I think I got lucky this time. As much as I wanted to stay true to my original intent in the old drawing, I decided to leave out the color on the bangs this time, because the past two times it just looked bad, and I think that was a good decision I made. She looks a little bit more balanced by taking out that single detail. And this was the final look. This drawing just felt like a breeze to go through. Now we have the last drawing I did for this video. Don't know what year I drew this, but it definitely was somewhere back when I was a true beginner. I drew a reference that aligns with my current style so I can have a basic idea of how to draw her. I thought her outfit was freaking boring, so I changed it up a bit to something that I like as well. You will see that later in the video. This is from my adolescent brain, so I had no thoughts while I was trying to draw her. But hey, let's make a story for her right now. Since Valentine's Day is coming up, and I am a very big lover of romance, why don't I make her a hopeless romantic? I say hopeless romantic because it is my favorite type of character. I mean, she got red on her clothes and there is a heart behind her, so yeah, that should be fitting. So, I wanted to do some big illustration with her and wanted her to be surrounded by flowers. So I had her on the floor and holding a bouquet of flowers. And I was thinking that she would have a first date and the person gave her such big flowers. Or that she's daydreaming about receiving flowers from someone one day and that she is on the ground and holding them tightly. I should fix her facial expression though to make it more aligned to what I just said, because right now it just bothers me. Surprisingly, this was really fun to do. Like, I did not stress out at all with drawing a full illustration like I usually do. I could probably finalize this one day. And that's all I did. I will be uploading these characters to my toy house, so if anyone wants to draw any of these characters and want to reference them, by all means, go ahead. And tag me please, I like to see. If you made it to the end of the video, I appreciate you lots. And thank you, and goodbye.